Hi guys, this is the first page in my Pocket Page notebook using the new Rise and Shine digital kit. So I'm starting with a couple of very spring-like photos. Spring has finally sprung around here, so I've got a couple of daffodil photos, and I'm just going to pick out a couple of papers from the kit that I think match. And I think these two, the green leaf and the yellow words, I think they go perfectly. So it's going to end up with a very strong color scheme, but I really like that. So I'm just going to trim down my papers. I'm going to trim them just slightly smaller than the page design so that I can fit them into the pocket in the Pocket Page notebook. I'm going to do a little design on there with one of the photos. So I trimmed the first page down just to fit inside the pocket, and then I'm using that as a template to make sure that I get my second paper and my photo the same size as well. So I'm going to make like a horizontal stripe design going up the pocket. So I'm just starting by trimming off a couple of pieces of this leaf paper. I think that's about 1.5 inches, and I'm going to glue them back to back because you're going to be able to see the back side of this because it's in a pocket. So I need it to be the same on both sides. So I've glued them together, and then, oh, do I struggle to get this actually in the pocket. My fat hand did not fit all the way down. So in the end, I poked it down with a couple of different tools. The ruler worked best. And then I'm going to repeat the same thing with my second yellow paper. So I'm making this slightly smaller. I think it's about 1 inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. And gluing them back to back again so that I can pop it in the pocket. But before I do that, I'm just going to use my fuse tool just to close off the pocket right above where I put my first paper. So I'm just adding a little board underneath that and a piece of paper so nothing sticks or goes through, and just running my fuse tool across quite closely to it. I'm not leaving much room for it to wiggle around. And then I'm going to poke in my second piece of paper. So I got smart and used the ruler straight away this time. Put that in place and then do the same thing. Just use my fuse tool to fuse that in place so it's not going to move about. Now before I put my photo in there, I want to create another little gap in there, and I'm going to add some of these sequins. These are some neat and tangled sequins, and they are the perfect colors to go with this page. Lots of blues and golds and greens. It couldn't have gone more perfectly. So I'm adding a couple of pinches of those in there, not heaps, because I'm just going to make a little line of them. And then I'm basically going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to squish them all down into the right place and just flip this around so I can reach it easier. And then just use my ruler and my fuse tool just to fuse that little part of the pocket shut. That way none of the sequins are going to pop out of there. And then I can add my photo in. Before I add my photo in, I need to cover up the back half of it, and that is where I'm going to put my journaling. So I typed my journaling out on just a piece of scrap card, and I'm going to trim that down and glue it on the back of the photo so that the photo will be on the front and the journaling will be on the back. And I just need to trim that all down to make sure you can't see any white bits. And then I can add that into the pocket, but I just need to trim a little bit more off my photo because I want the little pocket at the top to be just slightly larger than it was. So I can slip my photo in there. It was a little bit tight, so I obviously haven't trimmed it particularly accurately. I think as I was fusing, things have gotten a little bit not straight. So I trimmed a little bit more off it and then it fit in fine. And then I can use my fuse tool to fuse that in there. And then I'm going to add one more piece of the double-sided leafy paper. So I'm just going to trim off a little bit. Now I do struggle a little bit here to get the right size because I didn't bother to measure it. And this is what happens when you don't bother to measure it. So I've done one, I thought it was rough enough, I've glued it back to back, and I went to put it into the pocket. And it's just a little bit short. It would have been fine, but when I fuse the pocket shut, it's going to have this big clear stripe at the top. So I decided, no, I'll try and be a little bit more accurate and get a slightly larger piece. But again, I still didn't measure it properly. I'm just eyeballing it, which eventually works. I eventually get a piece that's okay, and then I can go ahead and glue that back to back again and slip that in and then fuse the top of the pocket shut. So this kit is available today. You can grab it from the stamp spot. I'll leave a link for that down below. And that is my pocket all finished. And now I can work on the front and the back. So I really liked the yellow word paper, but of course I've trimmed a little bit off. The advantage with a digital kit is that I can simply go and print myself another piece. So I've printed another piece of that same paper, and I'm going to use that to cover up the the piece behind the pocket, and then just glue that straight down. So this side's going to be super simple. I'm just going to glue that on and then add my photo on top. So that's all this page is getting. I didn't trim the fourth side just so that I could cut it off with my scissors once I had glued it in there, just to make sure it was perfectly flush with the page. And then I'm going to add my second photo in here on top of that, but behind the journaling, so when the pocket's shut you can't actually see it. And on the front page here is where I'm going to add my title, and I've got these gorgeous bright sunny yellow letters from Doodlebug Design. And I can't work out where I want to put the title, so I'm going to do a bit of a hack here and just really roughly trace the letters so that I can see how big they are and how much they might take up and where I might want to put them. And I think I'm going to put them at the top just to keep everything along the top here. And I want to add a label, but I want to make sure that it's going to go with the yellow of these alphas, so I picked the slightly more orange yellow. And one of these little labels that says stronger than you think, because a bit of the journaling on the back there is about how my daffodils have started coming up, and it just brings me so much joy. And then the man who comes to mow the lawns mowed straight over them. I was beyond words, to be honest. I don't know who would mow over daffodils, and so I put the stronger than you think little word thought on there because I thought that was perfectly adept for that story. So I've just spaced out my letter stickers, and then I can add my label and my little phrase here. And then I don't need to add a lot of journaling on this side, but I am just going to add, I guess, what is the title? A Spring has sprung, just with a gel pen. And that is this pages in my pocket page notebook all finished. I really hope you love the Rise and Shine kit as much as I do. I'll leave the link for it down below in the description box. And I hope you've enjoyed this page. If you have, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you want to keep watching, there's a couple more videos on screen. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time. Bye guys.